So my experiences as a woman in Waterloo engineering, the reality of the situation is that most engineering classes are still predominantly male. Our class is about a quarter women, and that led to most of my friends being male, which makes a lot of sense. Uh, it's like, I mean, things are getting better. I mean, people are starting to look into how do we get more women in the so quote unquote pipeline. But really, how do we get people who are younger engaged in science and engineering? So in the like broad scheme of things, there's definitely, you're gonna find that there's a lot more men in your class than women, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. All right, so some of the challenges that I face personally as a woman in engineering. So the big one is that engineering is still a bit of a boys' club. People are kind of content with things being the way that they always have been. So really getting over that is like challenge the reasons behind why things have been that way, and keep pushing forward with what you want to get done. There's like times are obviously changing, and each generation of women engineers makes this better and better, but it's still a bit of a friction point today. There's also still a struggle with the fact that employers still expect you to choose between a family and a career. If you're ever forced to make this decision, honestly, that's probably not the right company for you. Someone else will recognize your worth, so just leave. You should definitely allow yourself to pursue both a family and a career. Another challenge is that you can't be too aggressive, yet you need to be aggressive. So hard work doesn't mean that you'll get ahead. You need to be your own advocate for growth and progress. So don't be shy about negotiating your salary or raises, but you need to be very strategic about how you do that. So being too forceful, being too aggressive still comes across as, I can't swear on this obviously, still comes across as aggressive. Sometimes you'll be the only woman in the room. That's okay, own it, get used to it. You are empowered, you should be there, but it's just the reality of the situation going into male-dominated fields. It can make it difficult to make friends when you're the only woman in the room. Everyone's going out for drinks and watching the football game. So join those things, even if you don't love them, and get your peers to start recognizing your worth and your value that you bring to both your colleagues and your friendships, and see if you can kind of get them to do some things that you want to do. The last is imposter syndrome. So it can be really tricky to make sure that you feel confident and that you don't feel like you don't belong somewhere. So just seek mentors, seek guidance, seek colleagues that support you. Okay, a couple pieces of advice for future students. So number one, your university experience is more than just a school name and the degree. Take time to have fun, build relationships, and explore the city that you're living in. It'll be worth it for sure. Get to know the other women in your class and find a mentor. So find someone who's a year or two above you, or even someone who's already graduated. Work with someone to find like a mentor that you can kind of point you in the right direction, whether it's co-op or whether it's classes. Work with someone, doesn't have to be a woman, but you can work with men or women, but find someone who can help you guide you in your career path. And then again, get to know the other women in your class, help each other out. You're having this unique experience, but you might as well share it with the other people in your class. Next piece of advice I would give to future students is get involved in extracurriculars. So I was a member of an engineering student design team when I was in school. And honestly, I learned just as much from that as I did from any of my classes. I also developed an extremely good network that I still rely on for whether it's job hunting or even personal relationships. Having that experience outside of classes with other students, really, you learn a lot and you really develop those great relationships. Now, you might feel like you don't have enough time, and I swear you have enough time. You'll feel like you really have more time than you will realize until after you graduate, but do what you can, don't stress yourself out, but if you can get involved in things outside of classes, it's really valuable. Next piece of advice I'd give for future students is you don't need to know what you're going to do with your degree yet. You'll figure it out over time. So sometimes it makes sense to just study something that you're super passionate about and see where that leads you. I mean, so I studied nano because I found it fascinating, knowing full well that there were pretty limited career opportunities at the time. But it led me to discover what I was truly interested in through co-op and our capstone project. So taking it one step at a time has led me to lead a career that I love, even though it's not what I would have predicted going into school. So don't worry about what you're going to do when you grow up. No one's figured it out yet. You don't need to figure it out anytime soon. Just do something that you love.